Machu Picchu, the cloud city abandoned before Spanish arrival. Peru, 1911. American explorer Hiram Bingham climbs through cloud forest, gasping for air at 2,430 meters altitude. A local boy leads him up an impossible trail. Suddenly, the clouds part. Before him rises a city of stone, perfectly preserved walls, terraced gardens, temples aligned to the sun. But there are no people, no bodies, no signs of violence. Just empty buildings clinging to a mountain ridge, surrounded by vertical cliffs and roaring rivers below. The Inca built a city in the clouds, then vanished before Spanish conquistadors arrived. But why? Where did they go? And how did they build this in one of Earth's most impossible locations? The Inca Empire's secret retreat around AD 1450. Inca Emperor Pachacuti ordered construction of a royal estate in the most remote location imaginable. The site chosen was a narrow ridge between two peaks, Machu Picchu, Old Peak, and Huayna Picchu, Young Peak, in the cloud forest east of Cusco. The location was strategically brilliant and logistically insane. Steep mountains on all sides. The Urubamba River roaring 400 meters below. Accessible only by narrow mountain paths. Clouds shrouded the site most days, hiding it from view. It was naturally defensible, isolated, and spectacular. But building here required overcoming challenges that would defeat modern engineers. No flat land, everything on steep slopes. No local stone suitable for fine masonry. Granite had to be quarried and transported. Landslides were constant, water sources limited, and workers had to operate at altitude where oxygen is scarce. Pachacuti didn't build Machu Picchu as a city for common people. This was an exclusive royal retreat, a sacred site for the Inca elite, priests, and the chosen women who served the sun god Inti population at its peak, approximately 750 residents, plus 500 servants and workers. Small by Inca standards, but stunningly ambitious in this location. Construction took roughly 50 to 60 years. Workers were conscripted through the MITA system, labor tax owed to the Inca state. Every able-bodied male in the empire owed periodic service. For some, that meant building roads. For others, terracing hillsides. For an unlucky few, it meant Machu Picchu, one of the most dangerous construction sites in history, the quarry. Shaping stone at altitude, Inca masons worked primarily with granite, a rock so hard it chips iron tools. But they had no iron, no steel, no explosive charges, just stone hammers, bronze chisels, and endless patience. Granite for Machu Picchu came from a quarry on the site itself, a small advantage that still required enormous labor. Workers used a technique called stone on stone, pounding granite with harder hammerstones until the rock fractured along natural faults. A single block might take weeks to extract, but the real artistry came in shaping. Inca masonry is famous for precision blocks, fit so perfectly that a knife blade cut unslip between them. No mortar, no binding, just stone on stone, held by friction and weight. Achieving this required constant grinding, testing fit, grinding more. Some blocks were shaped and reshaped dozens of times. Workers performed this labor at 2,430 meters altitude. At this elevation, oxygen is 25% less than at sea level. Physical work becomes exhausting. Breathing is labored. Altitude sickness causes headaches, nausea, dizziness. Acclimatized highlanders from the Andes could function, but even they struggled with the grueling work. Stone cutting was dangerous. Hammering granite sent chips flying. Eye injuries were common. Massive blocks shifted unexpectedly, crushing hands and feet. Workers hauling stones on steep slopes sometimes lost their grip. The blocks tumbled down mountainsides, and sometimes workers tumbled with them. No records exist of casualties. The Inca kept extensive quipu knotted cord records, but none survived Spanish destruction. The dead are nameless. Transporting the impossible moving multi-ton granite blocks up steep mountain slopes without wheels, horses, or machinery defies belief. Yet the Inca did it. How? Human power. Teams of workers hauled blocks, using ropes made from llama wool and agave fiber. The blocks were mounted on wooden rollers or sleds. Workers pulled from the front, while others pushed from behind and sides. Progress was measured in meters per day, not kilometers. The steepest sections required ramps, temporary earthen inclines that workers built, used, then dismantled. These ramps had to be carefully engineered. Too steep and blocks couldn't be pulled. Too gradual and ramps stretched impossibly long. Ramps collapsed sometimes, sending blocks and workers crashing down. Llamas helped, but had limitations. A llama can carry about 30 kilograms, useful for tools and supplies, but worthless for multi-ton blocks. The heavy lifting was human muscle. Teams of 20 to 50 men hauled each major block. The work was synchronized through work chants, rhythmic songs that coordinated pulling. These songs are lost. The workers' voices silent. Accidents were inevitable. Ropes snapped under tension, whipping through crowds, breaking bones. Workers slipped on wet stone during the frequent rains. At this altitude, it rains 200 days annually. Those who fell from paths usually fell to their deaths in the river gorge below. Recovery was impossible. Bodies were left where they fell. Have you ever seen a picture of a place so breathtaking it almost doesn't look real? For many, that place is Machu Picchu. Perched high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, this ancient city is a masterpiece of engineering and a window into a lost world. But how did it get there? And what secrets do its stones hold? Today, we're journeying back in time to uncover the incredible story of Machu Picchu. So, who built this city in the clouds, and why? Most historians agree that Machu Picchu was built in the mid-15th century, around 1450, during the height of the Inca Empire. It was likely constructed as a royal estate for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti, one of the most powerful rulers in Incan history. Imagine this, a secluded mountain retreat for the emperor and his court. A place for relaxation, ceremony, and astronomical observation, far from the bustling capital of Cusco. It wasn't a massive city like we might think of today. Estimates suggest that only about 750 people lived here at any one time, mostly nobles, priests, and their attendants. What makes Machu Picchu truly mind-boggling is not just its stunning location, but the sheer genius of its construction. The Inca were master stonemasons, and they built this city without the help of wheels, iron tools, or even mortar for many of their finest structures. They used a technique called ashlar, where they cut stones so precisely that they fit together like puzzle pieces. Some of these stones are so tightly joined that you uneven slide a knife blade between them. This incredible precision made their buildings remarkably stable, which was crucial in an earthquake-prone region. Think about the logistics for a moment. They had to quarry massive granite blocks, some weighing over 50 tons, and move them up steep mountain slopes. How did they do it? It's believed they used a combination of manpower, ropes, and wooden levers to haul these stones into place. It was a monumental effort that showcases their incredible organization and deep understanding of physics and engineering. But their genius didn't stop at the walls. The entire site is a marvel of civil engineering. The Inca built over 600 terraces into the mountainside. These weren't just for decoration. They served multiple purposes. They created flat land for farming, prevented soil erosion, and were a key part of an ingenious water management system. Speaking of water, the Inca also designed a sophisticated network of stone channels and fountains that brought fresh spring water from the mountain peaks into the city. This system supplied water for drinking, bathing, and agriculture, and incredibly, parts of it still function today. More than 500 years later, the layout of Machu Picchu is also fascinating. It's generally divided into two main sections: the agricultural sector, with its sprawling terraces, and the urban sector, where people lived and worshipped. Within the urban area, there's a further split. The upper town, or Hanan, was home to the temples and the most important residences. This is where you'll find iconic structures like the Intihuatana stone, a mysterious carved pillar believed to be an astronomical clock or calendar. The lower town, or Huron, contained the homes of the lower-ranking residents and warehouses. This careful planning reflects the strict social hierarchy of the Inca Empire. So, if this place was so amazing, why was it abandoned? This is one of Machu Picchu's greatest mysteries. By the late 16th century, just about 100 years after it was built, the city was empty. The most widely accepted theory is that its abandonment was a consequence of the Spanish conquest. While the Spanish never found Machu Picchu, their arrival in South America brought diseases like smallpox, which devastated the Inca population. It's possible that a smallpox epidemic reached the city, or that its inhabitants left to join the resistance against the Spanish, or simply that the collapse of the Inca Empire made maintaining such a remote estate impossible. For centuries, Machu Picchu remained hidden from the outside world, known only to a few local farmers living in the valley below. Its rediscovery is often credited to the American explorer Hiram Bingham, who was led to the site in 1911 by a local guide. Bingham's expeditions brought Machu Picchu to international attention, and he called it the lost city of the Incas. While he wasn't the first to see it, his work sparked the global fascination that continues to this day. Today, Machu Picchu is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the new 7 wonders of the world, attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. It stands as a silent testament to the ingenuity, ambition, and ultimate fragility of the great Inca civilization. It's a place that reminds us of the incredible things humans can achieve and the powerful stories that can be written in stone. From its sacred temples to its intricate water channels, every corner of this mountain citadel tells a story of a people who were masters of their environment, living in harmony with the dramatic landscape they called home. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the heart of the Inca Empire. If you found this as fascinating as I do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into our world's most incredible places. See you in the next video. The modern threat today, Machu Picchu faces danger not from abandonment, but from love. Over 1.5 million tourists visit annually, minus 4,000 per day. Feet erode stone steps. Hands touch walls, smoothing ancient carvings. The sheer weight of visitors stresses structures. Landslides, always a threat, are worsened by vibrations and foot traffic. UNESCO threatened to list Machu Picchu as endangered unless Peru controlled tourism. Authorities responded with restrictions, limited daily visitors, timed entry, mandatory guided tours, no touching walls. These helped but anger tourists, who traveled far to see bucket list destinations. Climate change intensifies threats. Rainfall patterns are shifting. Heavier rains cause more landslides and erosion. The drainage system, though brilliant, is 500 years old and needs constant maintenance. Dry seasons are hotter, thermal expansion cracking stones. The mountain itself is less stable as permafrost at higher elevations melts. Some scientists warn Machu Picchu could collapse. The mountain ridge is geologically unstable. Small earthquakes are frequent. A major quake could be catastrophic. Engineers monitor constantly, reinforcing vulnerable areas, clearing drainage channels, stabilizing terraces. It's endless work, fighting entropy, time, and nature itself. The eternal mystery, who actually built Machu Picchu? We know Pachacuti commissioned it. But who designed the astronomical alignments? Who engineered the water system? Who carved the stones with such precision? The architects, engineers, and masons remain anonymous. Their genius survives in stone, but their names are dust. Why was it abandoned so completely? The Spanish conquest explains timing, but not totality. Other Inca sites were reoccupied after conquistadors passed. Why not Machu Picchu? Was it too sacred, too remote, or simply too difficult to maintain without imperial resources? What happened to the people? The evacuation was orderly, suggesting they had warning and time. But where did they go? Deeper into the jungle? Back to Cusco? Were they among the millions killed by European diseases? No graves at Machu Picchu contain post-1532 burials. The residents vanished completely. The cloud city endures. Stand at Machu Picchu at dawn. Watch clouds rise from the valley, engulfing the ruins, then dissipating to reveal the stone city floating in air. For a moment, you're transported. You see what the Inca saw: the sacred mountains, the impossibly perfect stonework, the city in the clouds. Then the tour groups arrive. Selfie sticks emerge. Guides repeat the same facts in 10 languages. The moment passes. But the stones remain. They've survived 500 years of abandonment, jungle reclamation, earthquakes, and now mass tourism. They endure. Machu Picchu is testament to human ambition and skill. The Inca built something impossible in an impossible place. They shaped stone with primitive tools to tolerances that challenge modern machinery. They engineered water systems still functioning centuries later. They aligned temples to celestial events with astronomical precision. But it's also testament to human fragility. An empire that built this marvel was destroyed by European invaders in less than a decade. Disease, steel weapons, and political chaos ended a civilization. The people who built and inhabited Machu Picchu are gone. Their descendants survive, but the knowledge of how and why this place was built died with them. The Cloud City remains, a frozen moment of Inca genius, abandoned before Spanish eyes could see it. Rediscovered centuries later, now threatened by the very admiration it inspires. The stones are eternal. The questions remain unanswered. And the workers who built it, who carried stone, carved terraces, hauled soil, and died on the mountain, remain nameless but immortal in their creation. Machu Picchu endures. Not as living city, but as monument. Not to emperors, but to the thousands of anonymous builders, whose sweat and blood created impossibility. The clouds embrace it still, hiding and revealing, protecting and exposing, as they have for 5 centuries. The city in the cloud stands, waiting, watching, silent testimony to what humans can achieve and what we can lose.